Hey everyone, Taz from Critical Thinking Anarchist here. Um, it's a crazy time, as most of you should know, as most of you probably feel. And I've been away for a long time, just taking care of my family, just doing everything, working, trying to provide, and of course, trying to keep up with the news and entertainment and everything else. And I just don't know where to go. So, I mean, do you look at the government and the complete lack of leadership we have from our current president? I was never a big fan of our previous president, but our current president has got to be far worse than anything we've ever seen before, bordering on fascism. And then you have the progressives just absolutely going for full fascism, going for as much of a dictatorship as possible, but they want to be the ones running the dictatorship, which is even weirder. You have the Republicans who are pressing against that, but aren't really offering a better alternative. I mean, it's really not like the Republicans are any better than the Democrats, except for the Republicans are at least attempting to say they want freedom. Biden is trying to extort everybody, thinking that he's going to be punishing businesses, but in reality, nobody punishes businesses. This whole, well, if we have the banks uh, keep track of everybody, any transaction over $600, then we'll get all our money back. Like, okay, first of all the money that you think is missing has been gone for a long time. It's not coming back. Businesses always have ways around this stuff. Secondly, all you're going to do is punish regular people. There is nothing else. You're going to be punishing middle class, lower income, I should say, middle and lower income citizens. The upper income citizens always have ways around everything. They can structure everything to $500. That's not a big deal. They can hire a courier for $20 to handle large cash transactions. What's going to happen is people are going to start pulling out tons of cash, not keeping them in banks. Banks are going to be failing left and right because the implementing these measures are going to be expensive as hell, not to mention then they're going to lose all the deposits that they already have. So they're not going to be able to keep up with any of this. And then you have the vaccination thing. Now, the vaccination thing is interesting because people keep saying it's a vaccine. It's not a vaccine. It's an immunobooster. It's a symptom mitigator. But it is not a vaccine. A vaccine gives you immunity. This does not give you immunity at all. It's been proven. You may not seem to catch the virus, but you get the virus. You pass the virus on, but you just don't have symptoms, or your symptoms are so mild that you don't notice them most of the time. It's the sniffles, which for 90+% of the people that get it, that's basically all they get anyway. So, yes, for people, if people want it, that's up to them. But, and for people who are immunocompromised, for people who have higher health risks, absolutely go and get it. It will help you. For 90% of the people who don't have those things, all it is just another thing to get. It's not going to help at all. And then you got people saying there is no such thing as natural immunity. What the ever living hell? Okay, first of all, there are papers showing that natural immunity exists, even on things such as a brand new virus. Second of all, how do you think traditional vaccines worked? They triggered your immune system by injecting you with a dead or barely live virus or a very small amount of live virus. And your immune system then attacks it, recognizes it for later, and if you are exposed to it, it creates it creates antibodies and T cells and everything else to attack it quicker, and therefore you are no longer you're immune. And that immunity is far greater than what had previously, than what we're talking about with this quote unquote vaccine. But that is a natural immunity. It triggers your body's natural responses. This version of a vaccine, quote unquote, doesn't trigger your body's natural immune system. What it does is create a protein. It triggers your body to create a protein around the virus. So you get it, and then it either prevents it, depending on the vaccine that you get, it either prevents it from, it attempts to, I should say, attempts to prevent it from replicating, or mutates it so much that it keeps screwing up because it goes into mutated dead ends. But the problem with that is if you're trying to mutate a virus, the virus already mutates on its own. So the more it mutates, the more chances you're giving it to create a stronger virus. Whereas when your body just attacks it, it has less of a chance to do so. On the third side here, now you've got Hollywood attacking Hollywood. And this is an interesting thing. You've got, athletes and actors and actresses and comedians fighting against the norm because they're sick of it. I mean, they were told one thing and now they're being told other things. They're understanding, they're realizing that this is dumb. They get their money, they get their audience from the general public. Well, the general public is the one that's suffering from this. Middle class America is the ones that are suffering from this. And when you've got stupid Australian premiers or prime ministers or whatever the hell, and you got other people sitting there going, well, you're preventing us from our freedoms. No. The government is the one preventing your freedom. They're turning us against each other and blaming it on us, just like a certain other socialist party tried to do 90 years ago. But no, we are not the ones taking away freedoms. I'm not sitting here telling you, hey, by the way, you can't do stuff. That's the government. That's the government telling you to do that. They're saying you can't do stuff because of this person. That's a military way of thinking. And if you don't know what I mean by that, if you go to old military movies here, and they would have they would punish everybody for what one person did. And that was the thing that pissed me off the most at the beginning of the pandemic. In Minneapolis, that actually happened. They had what I think somewhere around 2 or 4 restaurants who didn't comply with the rules and mandates that were set out at the time. And so they punished all of the other restaurants to create pressure on everybody else to make sure they follow the rules. And that's what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to create pressure on the people who have been vaccinated to pressure everybody else. Well, you're the problem. Why am I the problem? Well, you're causing us to do anything. I'm not leaving my house. I'm not one going out. That's the other funny thing about all this. You got the people who are going out, the people who are traveling, the people who didn't stop. When the pandemic started and they're suddenly laid off from their jobs and suddenly have, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, 18 months of not working, and they're sitting out there traveling. They're going to places. They're visiting friends or visiting family. Oh, yeah, I got vaccinated. Okay, you're still traveling. Well, you should be wearing a mask when you're doing this. You should be vaccinated when you're doing this. Okay, you're still the one interacting with people. I'm not interacting with anybody. I'm staying my ass home. The only time I go out is when I need to get food or something for the house. That's it. Hell, I'm more green than most of the fucking green people out there. I try to conserve energy in my house. I have the heat turned down. I have the AC turned up, if that makes sense. So, I barely use my car. I use it like once or twice a week. I try to go out as little as possible. I'm not the problem. You know who's the problem? You fucking people who fucking travel every 5 seconds. Who can't stay your asses home. Yeah, I'd love to be out there traveling the world. Guess what? I gotta work. When this thing started, I was an essential employee. Now that it's gone on, I've worked multiple jobs where I can't, I was an essential employee in my second job. And now at my current job, I'm working from home, which is great. But I'm still working. I'm not out there traveling. I can't afford to travel. I gotta pay for my house. I gotta pay for my family. I didn't get $600 a week extra for unemployment. I got $2 an hour to $2 an hour extra to be an essential employee. That was because my employer did that. I would have loved $600 an hour, $600 a week. That would have been great. That would have been much better than the kind of $80 that I got taxed upon. Anyway, back to Hollywood and athletes. So again, you got these people who are trying to realize that middle America is getting the shaft here. And you got the rest of Hollywood, because of course they're getting paid buku bucks to work, and they're not putting on masks. They're not obeying any of these rules, just like the politicians. And in fact, now they're hanging out with the politicians, like the freaking Met Gala. All right, and you see all these photo ops with all these people with their masks on, and then 5 seconds before they didn't have their mask on, 5 seconds after they don't have their mask on, but for that photo they do. Well, what happened to 5 seconds before, 5 seconds after? Why is it only this 10 seconds that you're taking a photo that you've got the mask on? What was so dangerous about that 10 seconds that's not there before and after? You got the FBI being called on middle America again for questioning mandates. Meanwhile, riots, protests, violence going on all across the United States. And the FBI has no problem with that. Why is that? I'm just asking questions. So I don't know where to go. I don't know where to begin. I'd like to create tons of videos. I'd like to create more entertaining videos. But right now, the United States is in such a stupid place, I can't do what I want to do. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for right now. Sorry, guys, it's been so long between videos. I'm trying to take care of my family, and my kid's going to be about a year old here in just under 2 weeks. And the little guy, he's amazing. It's amazing what children learn in their first year. They go from barely being able to move to figuring out how to walk, sometimes how to talk, how to eat by themselves, not how to cook. The things they learn in the first year. The things that people learn in their first 3 years of life is just astounding when you start thinking about it, and it's crazy. Anyway, you guys take care. Hopefully I will start, I say this every time, hopefully I will start be able to make videos more soon. I appreciate how you guys have helped my channel grow, and you guys, again, you're wonderful. I thank you. Believe me, I want to start ragging on Alyssa Milano and Stephen Colbert and every other idiot out there, Seth Rogen at this point. But I gotta wait. I gotta wait for all this crap to end. But again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for hitting the like button, for sharing the video. I appreciate it every single time. And I'll see you in the next one.